Here's another wee story that happens to be true. I'm going back when I left school. I left Falkirk Tech when I was 15. And like most youngsters, we all tried to get a job. Of course, at that time in Baysford, you could just walk into any factory and you'd probably start you right away. That's what happened to me. Well, I got started down in a place called Coburn's Brass Foundry down the Canal Bank. And what they did was they polished up brass components, taps, fire engine couplings, valves, all that sort of stuff. From the items that came from the moulding shop, they had to be buffed, polished and so on, and get ready for chroming. So I got started there, and the manager there introduced me to a lad who was to look after me and train me up. And you've heard me talking about this chap before. He ended up being one of my best pals throughout my whole life, and that was Gus Robertson. Gus worked there, and they were looking for an apprentice to work in his department. Well, not Gus's department, but he was the journeyman at the time. There was, 5 or 6 altogether that worked in that department. So as soon as Gus saw me, and we started laughing, and I says, "What are you laughing at?" I says, "We stay more or less next door to each other." And that's how Gus and I became close friends for many years. Anyway, we started off, Gus showed me all the different things to do, and we actually, between the two of us, we actually started the plant up at 8 o'clock every morning. I was showing how to start the motor. The motor at that time, there was a big fuse, a big electrical box just as you go in the main doors there. We used to stamp our cards, go over to this box, press this lever down, then we'd hear a motor slowly starting up. And once it started to run even, you shoved this lever back up, and that was it running for the rest of the day until it got switched off. Now that one motor drove more or less the whole factory. It was all belt driven, all the machines in those days. So I think health and safety would have been scratching their heads if they went into a place like that nowadays. But anyway, that's what happened there. But now and again, special jobs used to come in, and like say stuff for maybe BP, the fire service or something like that. And there were rush jobs. So Gus and I used to do this, and we used to prepare them, get them ready for chroming, etc. We'd wrap them up in tissue paper, put them in a box, and then that's where this buggy came in handy. See this here? It was once, that's a stock photo, but it was one similar to that. And it was fairly big, easy to run, no problems with it all, lovely bearings in the wheel, no problem whatsoever. So we used to load that up with these special components and it didn't happen all the time, because usually a truck of some kind would come down and lift all the other items that we had to be taken away. But special jobs, this is what we did. Me and Gus would fill this up with the items that were required, and then together we'd push this. Usually Gus being the biggest, he'd pull it and I'd push it at the back, and we came out of Coburn's work, went right along the canal to the old canal bridge. If I mind right, it was an old swing bridge then, can't mind. Anyway, up Graham's Road, and we come up to the Star Inn, you know where I mean. Turned round that corner, and what did we see was this place. That's exactly what it looked like. And as I say, when you look back in history, I see this thing at Carden Works, and it all came back to me, and I says, my God, I was 15-year-old and I walked through that gate when it was like that. Never forget it. when you went through this gate here, there's a wee sort of gatekeeper in there, and you report to him. He knew what was coming. He'd get somebody in the factory to come up, usually a couple of lads. They'd put it in a wee bogie and they'd take it away. The watchman would sign our dockies and we'd go back down to Coburns work and start the process again. But this here, it's all been renovated. That's the actual one that's on this gate here. And as I say, I was 15 at the time when I went through there with Gus Robertson. Unbelievable. It brings back so many memories to me. Wee story. I knew. I wonder how that